we have up next, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I'm going to give it a try. Liesel, if you would go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi.
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 Hi, it is Liesel. Thank you very much. Hi, Brenda. It's such an honor to meet you.
You too.
I have 3 questions if you're able to ask them. The first one is on the brown fat that someone brought up. Is it possible to get your body to produce more brown fat?
Yes, I have, not certainly not my key area of expertise, but I have seen where it is possible to increase brown fat, and people do all sorts of things to try to do that. But I think, and I actually even know how much diet can influence that. Exercise, exposure to cold, sleep, all of those things play a role. But you know what? After this conference, I'm going to do a little more research into brown fat.
And then kelp. You didn't mention kelp, but for iodine, is kelp a good source?
Well,
kelp, if you're not going to use fortified salt.
Yeah, so kelp is super concentrated in iodine, so concentrated that about 1/16 of a teaspoon provides 150 micrograms. So that is like a pinch. It's a very, very small amount. So the danger here is for adults, the RDA is 150 micrograms. The upper limit is 1,100 micrograms. You would hit that with what, a half a teaspoon or something of kelp powder. So just to be very, very aware of the amount you're using. So if you're using the seaweed kelp versus most people just use the kelp powder that you sprinkle on foods, just be very aware of the amount you're using, especially for a child, because again, the upper limit for iodine for children is not very high. It's, really, it would be exceeded very, very rapidly if you're using kelp powder in excess. So it's just a pinch. So you just want to, learn exactly how much you get from the kelp powder and then make sure you're not exceeding the upper limit. But it's a very concentrated source, so it could be quite useful.
And is there a situation with thyroid that you should avoid kelp or iodine? Because I've heard different, I don't know, they've theories but recent information that you should avoid iodine if you have thyroid issues.
Well, no, it depends. I mean, if you have Hashimoto's disease, then caution is definitely warranted. But for a lot of people who have hypothyroid, it's triggered by a lack of iodine. Iodine is necessary for the manufacturing of thyroid hormones. And if you don't get enough iodine, you don't produce the thyroid hormones that you need. So it's really important to get enough iodine, although you don't want to necessarily you don't want to be over the upper limit for sure. But iodine is really critical for most people with hypothyroid disease.
Brenda, thank you. And up next, we have Laura. Laura, if you'd go ahead and unmute yourself, please. And we thank everybody, by the way, for keeping your questions direct and brief for Brenda. It's really fantastic, so thank you. Laura, go ahead. Laura H., are you there?
She's unmuted, but we're not hearing her.
You know what, Laura? Laura, I'm so sorry. We're actually gonna mute you. We're having a hard time hearing you. But what we'll do is we're just gonna try you back one more time in a minute. Let's move on to, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Josepa, if we can have you unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Hello, hi, Josepa. Yes, can you hear me?
We can, thank you.
Okay, hi, Brenda. Hi, everybody. I just have to. I have two questions.
You know what, Laura, I'm so sorry.
We're mixing.
Okay, I think you're good now. Thank you.
Okay, so first question is like, do you maybe recommend like iodine in pregnancy and also probiotics in the pregnancy.
I'm sorry, probiotics?
Yes, and
Yes, okay.
iodine.
Iodine, definitely. Iodine is absolutely critical during pregnancy because, well, you need about 220 micrograms during pregnancy, 290, I believe, during lactation. And if you don't get sufficient iodine in pregnancy, your child can be born with a very severe cognitive impairment. And so iodine is critical to brain development. So you absolutely need to get iodine, and it is an issue if you're not using iodized salt. You just need to. What you can do is to choose a prenatal supplement that includes iodine, which to me is probably the easiest way to make sure that you're getting enough iodine and some of the other nutrients that are pretty critical during pregnancy as well. So one of the other nutrient that you might want to consider looking for in a prenatal supplement is choline. So both of those, but iodine, definitely, you want to hit your RDA for iodine when you're pregnant. And then the second question was about probiotics during pregnancy. And again, I don't think it's necessary. If you're eating a lot of prebiotics, you should, and you can not only eat prebiotics, you can eat probiotics as well in the form of fermented foods. If you're consuming some, I use a cashew almond fermented yogurt and naturally fermented. Sometimes I make my own sauerkraut. There are lots of fermented foods. You can do your own fermented cheeses and things like that too, or purchase them. So. Mm-hmm.